All right, this is not a ride sharing video. This indeed is not a ride sharing video. All right, what up, folks? Once again, it is your boy Tim with another uh with a topic that I want to present to you because it's something that President Trump, number 45, our beloved MAGA, will understand this, but it's something that you often hear coming up from the former commander in chief a lot as of late. Now, if you are aware for certain that he's been indicted twice by Bragg over in New York, and now Merrick Garland through Jack Smith has indicted him a second time. Well, I want you to hear a quote. This is a quote Trump stated just this weekend at a speech. Every time the radical left Democrats, Marxists, communists, and fascists indict me, I consider it a badge of honor and a badge of courage. I consider it both. Essentially, I'm being indicted for you. Appreciate that. Thank you there. So, Jay Gard, thank you. So, we're going to be asking that question because President Trump is echoing this sentiment in a lot of different rallies and gatherings. Do you believe he is being indicted for you as a constituent? If so, why? Now, as we stated, he's been indicted for allegedly mishandling campaign funds and paying off Stormy Daniels. Do you believe that indictment was for you? Do you believe that he took this charge that he allegedly paid off Stormy Daniels with campaign funds? He did that to benefit you. That is what he is suggesting. In addition to that, he's obviously been indicted by Jack Smith in regards to mishandling of classified documents up to and including an espionage charge, a charge of spying. Strong charge. Maybe it's overstated. We can talk about that. But nevertheless, do you believe President Trump was charged with espionage, charged with mishandling of classified materials? Do you believe he did that for you? So we want to ask that question because I like to be educated about it, folks. I make it clear. I don't talk down to my guests. I don't come across as a know-it-all. Hell, a lot of times you folks educate me, and that's what I'm asking for today. I want to know how President Trump being indicted for these alleged crimes is being done for the people. How do the people benefit from this? Because he is saying this consistently that he has been indicted and he's doing it for you. All right, as always, we don't block, ban, or censor anyone for their commentary. You don't have to agree with the host. Nobody ever puts that onus on you. I don't limit, censor, or block your time in any way because you have a disagreement with yours truly. It's always about First Amendment free speech rights here. Nevertheless, as always, the box will be open. I'm going to go straight to the comments, though. Program is MAGA friendly, always will be MAGA friendly. Nevertheless, liberals are welcome as well. Considering they would be screaming from the rooftops if the situation was reversed. See, I do believe there is some politics being played here. Trump is indicted because rule of law must be upheld. Wow. Yeah, it's the law-abiding party. The law-abiding party. So that's where is Trump being indicted for you and I as voting constituents. I want to know if so, how, why. Going to the box, tap the screen, 800 plus of you in here, get your boy up to 5,000. Show your boy some love. We'll start it right off with the one and only Takesha Blue. President Trump, all of this stuff Trump is going through, he's doing it for you, me, and the voting public. What say you?
They told me that when he said that the KY jelly shelf at Walmart became empty because his supporters were so turned on because he said that he was doing it for them. That they sales went through the roof. The Love Stuff store is empty because he's doing it for them.
I don't even know where to go with that. I don't even know what to do with that. But you're suggesting that they loved his comment so much. So let me ask it to you this way: then why do you think that MAGA Trump supporters favor his comment that he's being indicted for them so much? So much that
Trump
they're going out and buying
supporters
lubricants.
favor his
Why do they
comment that
favor
he's
that?
being indicted for them so much. So much that
Did
they're
you?
going and buying. Listen, hold on. I'm echoing. Wait a minute.
Yeah, I don't know what you just did. I'll give her a moment to fix that out. KY Jelly, yeah, Mark and Mr. Dark Knight, that was crazy. Okay, you're still echoing, Chiquisha. Every Republican should switch to Democratic. RFK. We'll keep it moving. We'll go back to Keisha in a minute, but every Republican should switch to Democrat and elect RFK. Then we have two good choices. And I would submit to you in regards to RFK, I don't understand why he ran as a Democrat at all. I don't think there's any even part of RFK's campaign that is resonating with Democrats. I just don't understand why he would run as a Democrat other than his, his ancestors had a lot of ties to the Democratic Party. But I mean, he's running on vaccine protocols and he's anti-climate change. Why would you run as a Democrat? I don't understand even the basic purpose of what he is doing. All right, let me keep it moving. I don't know if Takesha's back here. We'll Anthony, and I'll see if she comes back on. Yeah, I don't get RFK. Why is RFK being pushed by MAGA? Well, some of the stuff that RFK is saying resonates with MAGA, but also too, you want Joe Biden to have as much competition as possible, which is also why they were favoring Tulsi Gabbard in the last election, and now they're favoring all of the competitors to Joe Biden. Mark, good afternoon.
Hi, you brought me on after problems with Takesha. She's gonna kill me, She don't play. I know Takesha. She's, she's gonna, um,
Takesha is always a welcome guest here. But what
yeah.
about Trump suggesting that he is indeed being indicted? And he's doing that for you, me, and the voting public.
Uh, it's either an excuse or a projection. Um, but that's his MO, his entire career. Just projecting everything onto everybody else, or make an excuse, or we the public is not responsible for him not giving documents back. Only himself is responsible for that. I mean, it's like crashing your car and then blaming everybody else around you for the car crash. Um,
Yeah.
but
Well,
if I may,
what about the
may
notion? What about the notion that he is letting the DOJ, maybe the state in New York, wrongfully charge him so that he can protect you from having that same experience?
I don't think any of us would have a problem with that same experience.
Yeah.
Our attorneys go to jail for what, 16 months, and we don't. We ask our attorney to do something for us legal, and they do it, and they go to jail, and we get charged for the same crime. I don't see a lot of us being charged with that. So,
No, I don't think I'll
um,
ever be charged. Yeah, I don't think I'll ever be facing an espionage charge or a charge of that I use my political campaign funds to pay off a stripper or a porn star. Yeah, I don't see how that would ever be something that most of the voting public would ever have to deal with. But nevertheless, among my beloved MAGA, it is resonating. They do believe he's being indicted for them. Why do you think it has so much resignation? Why do you think it resonates so well with MAGA?
well, I mean, you just persecution, I guess. Feeling like the government stuff that hasn't gone their way has been the fault of the government. I mean, it's much easier to blame Mexicans crossing the border than yourself, right? When you haven't succeeded fully like you wanted to in life. So a lot of people blame other people um, for their failures, and it happens in your everyday life. Hey, I didn't get to work on time because the bus was late or there was traffic. That's blaming something else for your failure.
Are
And
you
it's so easy to do
but
that.
wait a minute, are you suggesting that MAGA is playing victim? As an African American, I get told all the time, you folks play victim too much. Are you suggesting that MAGA's doing that?
Yes, they do it all the time. Um, if I could address something real quick, because I heard something on your program yesterday that upset me, and I really wanted to just spend like a minute talking about that. If that's okay with you, sir?
Sure, what you
Um,
got? What you got?
Sorry, and then I'll leave your live because well, I'll keep watching, but Ethan, I wanted to address the guy Ethan, your last caller, last show, and as my mother used to say, you can take a long walk off a short pier, because he called LGBTQ people groomers and talked about how pride was a nonsense and all that and pushed on people. um, that's ridiculous. And LGBTQ pride is about perseverance through persecution. Nobody has been persecuted for being straight, but we wouldn't be protesting straight pride parades, and we wouldn't be attacking Target employees for selling straight pride merch. And that just wouldn't be happening because we're accepting of other people.
So
And
you don't so at the end of the you don't believe that, you believe it's an unwarranted statement that they're trying to groom children or they're going at the kids at all.
absolutely, I've said this before. When they had the segregation in the 50s and the 60s, right? They used to use children as a shield for their bigotry. We can't have segregate. We can't have bathrooms together because we got to protect the children from diseases and stuff. It's the
Well,
same
let, well, let
same
me
thing
let
that's
me
going
ask
on
you
now.
this. Now, I'm obviously I make it clear I'm an ally to the LGBT community, but I do have to ask you this. There are LGBT members online. There's one video of what looks like some type of parade or some type of gathering where they're literally chanting, "We are queer, we're here, and we're coming for your children." And there are several of them chanting this. They're wearing drag makeup and things like that. And I don't think it's a plant. I don't think they're like, some phony. I do believe it's a genuine LGBT event, and they're chanting, "We're here, we're queer, and we're coming for your children." How do you respond to something like that?
I don't agree with that. I don't think there's any way that you could quote unquote groom a child to be that way. I mean, it's either they are gay or they're not, or they're transgender or they're not. They just have that innate sense of uniqueness to themselves, and each child needs to figure that out for themselves. However, teaching children that diversity is okay and teaching children that they can be accepting of other cultures is not the same as teaching children, gay sex. It's not the same, and that's what people equate with it.
I mean, I get your point. I'm not disagreeing with you. Like I said, I'm an ally of the community, but I want to present this to you because folks, are saying that they're grooming children, and then the allies are saying no, they're not. And I want to present this because some of this stuff is coming from a place that makes sense. Here's another one. There is what appears to be a drag queen floating all over social media. It's a guy with he's heavily made up like a drag queen, and the video starts out with him saying, "Listen, boys and girls, there is no such thing as a boy or a girl." How do you respond to that?
I think it's an important question for a child to ask, and it's not teaching them sex or just telling them their perspective on gender, which is not grooming somebody. It's like a thought provoking thing. Yeah, and
You believe children should be taught that there is no such thing as a boy or a girl?
I think that gender fluidity is perfectly fine to teach a child. Yes. Well,
Describe that, because I'm going to admit ignorance. I'm clueless. What is gender fluid? Being gender fluid, what is that?
it 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 means that yeah, your gender rolls along the same way. Basically, you can be all things, male, female, whatever you are born to be. And
Can you be a boy? Can you be a boy?
yeah, obviously you can be if you want to be, if you identify that as that. You can certainly. There's nothing wrong with identifying as straight cisgender, which for some reason seems to piss people off. We call them cisgender. It's a Latin term, that's over a
So,
hundred years
I
old.
mean, like I said, I'm trying to make it clear I'm an ally of the community, but you're confusing even me. And the
Well,
reason I want to ask this is,
sure.
do you believe a 2-year-old should be taught a 2-year-old girl should be taught you can be a boy if you want to? At 2, is that something that should even be discussed at that young age?
I think they should not have any gender thrust. That's my belief. That that you can teach a child what they want to be is okay. If you want, and you can introduce them to girl things, you can introduce them to boy things. It's perfectly fine. The thing that just would upset me is like a parent saying, "Oh, my boy can't, be exposed to girl colors because that would make him a girl." No, I mean, it doesn't work that way.
Well, let's go with
So
girl colors. Let's say, for instance, your wife or your spouse is pregnant, and as a couple, you're getting the child's room ready. The ultrasound says it's going to be a boy, so you buy all the stuff in blue, and the child's older brother or sister that's already around, say the kid's 4 or 5 years old, ask mommy and daddy, why are you decorating his room blue? Maybe he wants to be a girl. Shouldn't we get pink stuff? Because you've taught them that you can go either way. How do you respond to that kid?
I mean, I think that's a great question for the child to ask. Um, but you could always say, "Hey, it's a template. We're using this as a template. Blue is a nice color. They might like blue, but they might also like yellow, or they might like pink. We can always change a wall color paint, right? That's
And
probably how."
you don't see where any of this could be confusing to that young child. When you're talking templates and things, they don't work in a mechanic shop. They don't know what a template is. So you don't see where this could be confusing at all.
No, I think teaching children gender roles is, important. Teaching them safety of their own body is very important, and it's also okay to teach them that diversity and gender fluidity is okay. I don't think it'll be that confusing for them. Where I think
I mean,
a lot of
I
parents,
don't
yeah, go ahead.
mind. Yeah, the point I'm making, I don't mind teaching a kid algebra, but there's a level when you feel like they are mentally ready to handle algebraic, expressions. You don't see any age at all. Like you can teach them this as young as possible.
I think so, and I think if they're really still really confused from that, maybe you don't go as far. But I mean, the very simple, basic things, it's okay.
Okay.
And
No,
for
and the reason I use the decorating of the child's room, oftentimes you have these baby showers or whatever they're called, and it'll say it's a boy, the balloons, what they call them, gender reveal parties. And
oh
folks
my
will say,
goodness.
I'm having a boy, I'm having a girl. Well, if the older child says, how do you know, mom, it's going to be a boy? Because maybe he'll come out and want to be a girl. I mean, this is where I'm saying it gets to be very complicated to have to deal with this with a young child that the ultrasound shows a penis, but here his 3 or 4 year old brother saying, no, that actually might be a girl inside of you.
Yeah, no, I would just say, those choices can be made when they get older, but you're deciding to start off with that template. That's all I would. I mean, that's all I would say to a young child. But again, kids are really adaptable, and they understand basic things, and they're okay with it. It's the hatred and the bigotry that's taught to kids that I have a problem. And
Fair enough.
and
That makes sense.
Brian's mom has two mommies. Dan's mom has two daddies. It's okay. And, they don't have a
Yeah, that
problem
I
with
get.
that.
I wanna ask you this. I'm gonna have to move it on shortly, but I want to
Sure.
ask you this
Yeah, yeah.
because in the comments, Dana Point Realtor and maybe couple others are saying that what we're discussing, I suppose, coming from me personally, is misinformation. In regards to our conversation, are we talking about anything that you, as an ally of this community, and me too, as an ally of this community, do you hear anything we're saying that might be referred to as misinformation?
No, I don't. I think it's very basic of diversity and accepting of other cultures and yeah, I don't think it's misinformation. I think they want to believe it's misinformation, but yeah, my goal would be to inform people to stop hiding behind kids for their bigotry. You don't like gay people? Okay, just say you don't like gay people. Don't call all gay people, the P word and groomers just because you want to hide behind children. That's not right. It's been done
Fair
before
enough.
in history with different cultures, like I said, with the African American community, um, as other races. We have to protect the children. We can't have black people using our bathrooms, stuff like that. I mean, that has been done before. Even if you watch The Help, she says at one of the dinner scenes, and you can clearly tell it's her personal view, right? That she doesn't want to share a bathroom with a black person. But at the end,
Mhm.
she's like, we have to protect our children at all costs. Yeah, that's the same thing they're doing, and it's so wrong. And yeah, it
I
doesn't
will
refer
say
to.
this. Fair enough, and I gotta move it on, but I will say this real quickly. I do agree with you that the protection of children is being used as a bullshit ruse. However, when they're walking down the street saying we're coming for your children, not helping out their case. And not only that, but there is no such thing as a boy or a girl. And last but not least, if the LGBT community is being accused of sexualizing the community and hurting children, the last thing we need is for somebody to go to the White House and show off their tits.
Oh
So
my
some
God,
of them,
yeah. I was so mad at that, and
yeah,
I'm a member of the LGBTQ community. You can see, we don't think everybody is perfect who's in our community. There's some bad apples, and I thought that was entirely inappropriate, and frankly, set back our narrative for that we've been trying to tell people for a long time. You're going to do that at the White House? Are you kidding me? That's ridiculous. Yeah, I agree
yeah,
with you.
that would literally have been like inviting Martin Luther King to the White House for an "I Have a Dream" speech and finding out he took somebody's necklace while he had access to the Oval Office. It was a huge setback. I got to move it on though,
Thank,
Mark.
thank
Appreciate you
you.
coming here.
Thank you
Absolutely,
for having me on.
absolutely. You too. All right, look comments and I know my voice is going out, but I certainly am an ally to the LGBT community. But nevertheless, when folks do things like that set the community back, it's disingenuous not to point it out. And to go to the White House and show off your bare breast after being a guest who was clearly invited there to represent the community. To literally go to the White House and do exactly the stereotypical shit that the opposition is accusing you of. I don't have any defense for that. We'll go back to the box. Let's try Takesha again. My voice went out. I don't know why. I'll try to talk a little bit lower, but shit, Takesha, good afternoon.
Let me
Welcome back.
say, let me address something right quick. I have an iPhone through AT&T. I do not have an Obama government phone, but if I did and it worked, it would still be my business. When you get a phone call and you on live, it messes up your phone. So please, let it go. Yeah, you know
Talk
I
to me
wasn't
now.
gonna
What's
let that
going on?
slide, baby.
All right. Trump is being indicted. He says he's doing it for you, me, and the other voters. What do you think?
You know what I already said about how his supporters went and bought all the KY jelly so they can feel on themselves after he said it because it made them feel so good. But anyway, if he was doing this for us, he wouldn't have told Congress to do something about it to stop it.
Wait, say
He
that again?
he truthed. He made a so-called truth. and told Congress they need to stop what's going on. So if he were doing it for us, he wouldn't tell nobody to stop it. He'll go through it and prove he's innocent if he was innocent, which we know he is about as innocent and as real as that toupee that sit on top of his head. Trump needs to stop lying. Trump is scared. Believe me, he's afraid. He
Man,
might
but
not show it.
wait, I gotta disagree with one. You think he's actually afraid? Do you think what is he afraid of?
Let me tell you something. When them names came out that Jack Smith put out, he gave to his lawyers, and he saw the people that was actually gonna be testifying against him, and he know what all they know. Yeah, he got a little scared. Nobody is not afraid of anything. Believe me, he's shaking.
But if I'm being charged with something by the feds with a 96% conviction rate, I'm scared because they may convict me and throw me in jail. Do you think Trump actually fears going to jail?
Trump fears looking like a fool in front of his base.
Do you think he even comes close to looking like a fool in front of his base? 60% support? Do you think that's
Listen,
even possible?
listen to me. When everything comes out, believe me, some eyes are gonna open. They all might not open, but everybody ain't locked in stupid. Some people still got just a little common sense on the side of their brain that's ready to be activated by the truth. So believe me when I tell you, when everything comes out, and when they see the people that's testifying against him, probably like Melania, then then they gonna be like,
I don't
OMG.
I don't know how many people on Trump's campaign or his administration, and he walked around saying they were the greatest thing since sliced bread, that have came out and testified against him, and it has not hurt him at all. I would submit to you that if Melania Trump,
Hold on. See, because y'all keep saying that. Where has he ever been indicted for somebody to testify against him?
I don't think it's going to matter. Let me say what I'm saying.
No.
I'm
When
trying to
has
answer your
he,
question, baby.
handsome, when has he gone to court and somebody testified against him that was in his
January,
cabinet?
he
That
didn't go
was
to
in his
court, but
cabinet.
he didn't go to court, but they were testifying against him on January 6th. Some of his closest associates was testifying against him, man.
That was nothing that will harm him, sir. What I'm saying is he has not been to a real court of law to have to defend this stuff. Okay, January the 6th, that was a commission. They couldn't charge Trump. Jack Smith is doing the charging for the January 6th. He's the one that's gonna take him to court for this.
Let me say this. With Biden being found to have documents in his possession, Mike Pence being found to have documents in his possession, I don't think anything that Jack Smith is going to present is going to turn MAGA against Trump, because they're going to point out you didn't charge these other people. Now, I know there's obstruction. I know he didn't want to give the documents back. I agree with that
Let me
part.
listen, Handsome. Y'all got to stop saying this. Trump is not being charged because he had documents. If he had gave them folks their documents back, none of this would be going on. Biden gave his back. Pence gave his back. Trump kept his in the bathroom to read and rub himself while he looked at the light in the bathroom. He had people moving him back and forth. Them folks kept asking him for documents and kept asking him for documents. He kept moving them and hiding them. He's not being indicted for keeping documents because the documents that he gave back is not even in the indictment. If
Well,
he had gave them back,
I have to push back with this in regards to Trump
push back because I'm
refusing.
ready for you today.
No, I do nothing but push back. I even smack while I'm doing it.
Come
But
on.
what I'm saying is, not only okay, we can talk about Trump not wanting to give back the documents. That is a worthy statement. Nevertheless, even though Biden gave the documents back, he had them in his possession for about a generation. So he gave them back when they were no longer even of value. How do
Okay, but
we just ignore that?
is Biden's investigation over? Answer me that.
No, it's not.
Did they come out and say that like they did Pence? Have they closed Biden's document case?
Okay.
So
Now you're
what?
making the point with. Now we're
Okay, now
agreeing.
see
All
y'all
right.
making assumptions to something that has not even happened. We don't know what the DOJ gonna do about Biden those documents because they've done nothing yet. They still investigating.
Well, that's true. But the reason folks are getting upset, as you're pointing out, proactively before anything's closed, is because they truly don't believe the DOJ is going to treat Biden with the same attention they gave Trump. That's why they're acting that way.
Let,
They
let
could
me
be
let me
wrong. They
let
could
me
be wrong, but that's why they're
okay.
doing it.
Okay, Trump has been indicted on documents, on obstruction and stuff. Trump ain't got no mugshot. He walked in there. He walked back out. He out here free walking around. The young boy that was showing the documents he had online was arrested, held, and he's now serving time. Tell me who got the privilege.
The president. I'm not
Okay.
arguing with you with that.
Okay, so they need to find something else to talk about. What they don't want Trump held accountable for nothing he's done because they don't. Let me tell you something. They know he did something wrong. They already know. They don't want to look like the fools that they looking like because they followed this. Listen, they have followed this man harder than we follow rock stars around the world of concerts. They looking really crazy because the man they put all their hope, faith, belief, they hair products in because they wanted the toupee look. They done bought all the orange spray paint because they want to be his color. Then they got the white out for around the eyes. I mean, you know,
Okay.
they
Okay.
hold
You
on.
win.
They got the sniff down pack. They was saying that it was because he was still snorting cocaine, but I say it's because he's sniffing to see if he's messed himself. That's why he keep doing all this sniffing. But they have vested themselves in this man, and they don't want to look bad now.
Well, okay. Right. Okay, so I have to ask this. When you talk about they follow him like he's a rock star, well, you have to understand they believe that Trump was delivering us on a path of righteousness in this country, that he was going to do a hell of a lot more than the typical rock star, that he was indeed the calling, the best president we've had in recent memory. So
If
that is
they
the reason they're
if they
following it. They believe he's
if
doing a
they
great job.
if they call themselves real Christians, they'll know you don't follow nobody but the Lord. That's the only person that can deliver you in this world. And because they treated him like he had a recliner sitting next to the throne of God, that's why they in the shape they in now. They put a man above God. And that's why they in the shape they in now. If they had to put all their faith in one man who put his pants on like they do, who if he don't eat, he'll starve to death, then they would be better off. But they worship this man. The Bible says these words that in the last day they're gonna be turning away from the faith. That means that they're gonna look for something other than God to save them, and that's what they did when they found Trump. That's all.
Did a liberal just beat up the evangelicals with passages right out the
I beat them
Bible?
like a
Damn.
dog. I'm sick of them.
I
I'm
gotta
sick
go,
of them.
Takesha. I gotta go. Always a pleasure.
All right,
Always.
friend.
Hey, good talk. About KY Jelly after hearing that Trump said he was being indicted for you and I. She really suggested that MAGA was so happy to hear Trump state that he was being indicted for you and I in the voting public that MAGA went out and purchased KY Jelly. I don't know where to go with that. Going back to the box, someone with a name of the flag says she was full of it. But, and I make it clear, folks, I don't censor anyone's opinion, whether we agree or disagree. I give you plenty of time to state your point. Obviously, she's coming at it from the left. I have callers that come from the right all the time, and I don't censor them as well. As I always say, we go further left than Bernie Sanders to the point of I'm having dinner with QAnon tonight. We let folks speak. Looking in the comments section, the only president in history to be indicted. Oh, the DOJ case is airtight. Trust that, says Mr. Dark Knight. Most political analysts do believe that the feds would not have went after Trump if they didn't have a pretty strong case. That's just the way it is. They don't go after even citizens unless they have a strong case. They have a 96% conviction rate for a reason, because they let you fuck up over and over again before they finally go after you. So Trump could be in trouble with it, but we'll see. We'll see. We got a lot. There's still a lot of time ahead. Big Florida, I got some shit to say. Okay, ask a reasonable Biden supporter what they think Trump did well. Well, I supported President Biden. I consider myself to be hellified reasonable because I point out negatives on both sides of the aisle. In regards to President Trump, as a liberal, just because you don't agree with something does not mean it is a huge win for another politician. I bring it up all the time. Since Roe versus Wade was enacted, you've had a host of Republicans trying to get that overturned. They believe they are saving the lives of the unborn. You've had Reagan, you've had both Bushes try their best to get Roe v. Wade overturned. Trump successfully made that happen with his 6-3 Supreme Court majority. And not only that, but he even stated if he got elected while having a debate with Hillary Clinton that he would put young pro-life justices on the Supreme Court. So he told folks ahead of time. You cannot blame folks like the Bernie Sanders supporters that were pissed off with Hillary Clinton and voted for Trump, or even some liberals that did not like Hillary Clinton and voted for Trump. Well, the man told you what he was going to do. So that is a huge win for President Trump, even though us liberals may not like it. Valley Girl, thank you for that TikTok note. Good shit. Thank you. So in regards to what has Trump done, who else could have gotten you Roe v. Wade overturned? That's huge. Just because you don't like it, just like if we were to get some type of common sense gun law, or some type of climate change activity, or the George Floyd bill passed, or tuition reform, we would consider that a huge win. They would hate it. They are entitled to that. Trump got something accomplished that they've been wanting for 50 years. Give the man his credit, even if you don't like it. 6-3